Welcome back. We're the Bourbon Junkies. He's Dan.
Oh, how you doing?
I'm Sean.
Today we're going to talk to you about each of us have roughly 5 whiskeys that we regret buying when we were getting into whiskey.
Yeah. Before we move on, let's talk about the
Emil!
video sponsor today.
Oliver.
Who bought a nice
Emil,
shelf.
thank you
Emil,
for supporting the channel, man.
He put this on the shelf and you couldn't be more excited to drink.
Oh my
little
gosh.
Octomore. This is a masterclass. This is
Octomore
8.1.
me daddy. When you drink Octomore, you should be playing heavy metal music and you should be enjoying yourself. So we're going to drink that while we go through the list for today. All right.
Cheers, buddy. Thank you.
Cheers. Thank you, buddy. All right. So.
Screw whiskey.
Okay. So.
With an E.
These are all bottles that when we were getting into whiskey, we had purchased, or realistically, that's actually it. And we regretted it. Do you want to go first?
Yeah. Do you know
Sean's
what?
got way more than 5. I have 5.
Do you know what's way on? What is your problem today, sir?
Is happening?
Okay.
Look yourself in the mirror and figure it the out, dude.
Speaking of scotch,
Oh, could you imagine going from monkey shoulder or Octomore to monkey shoulder?
we wanted to get into scotch at one point in time, and I know this was like a widely popularized bottle, the old monkey shoulder. People were like, hey, if you're trying to get into scotch, this is a bottle.
People being the tribe and their whole community.
I regret it because looking back, there are actually so many better intro bottles that I would rather have than this. It was like, this was one of my first intros, and I was like,
To scotch, specifically.
The only reason I'm pulling it out right now is because we're drinking scotch.
That's fair. That's your number
It
one.
was like, we could have done better here.
Looking back, you know, in hindsight, which is 40/20 as they say, my first bottle
Do they though?
is actually
I'm excited.
Pikesville Rye. Let me tell you why.
I would love to hear this.
I
Dan's
have
entire
reason-
list, by the way,
Makes no
is
sense to
just only reasons, because some of them I'm very confused on.
Yeah.
This would be one of them.
I have reasons for all the things. This is a good bottle of whiskey. And Sean and I now know this as a pretty good bottle of whiskey.
Yeah.
The problem is if you were here around the channel, maybe you were, maybe you weren't, when we had the white wall background that was all brick and no microphone and barely a camera and it overheated.
Cut in a little clip.
That's Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. Welcome back. We're the Bourbon Junkies.
Before we go on any farther, let's talk about the sponsor of today's video, Dan's phone. Actually, it's Helix Mattresses.
Do you like to
Sleep?
rest your head at night?
Most people do.
If it makes you feel better, we both just left and both came back after like being gone for a week and a half to 2 weeks.
2 weeks. 2 weeks on stranger mattresses and hotel mattresses. And I tell you what, nothing
Oh my
makes you
gosh.
appreciate a nice quality mattress
Nothing.
than going and doing that. And then you come back home, you're like, best sleep of my life.
I literally came back home. I'm pretty sure that I slept as long as old Rip did for about 12 years. Woke up, felt incredible. Used the Helix pillows on the Helix mattress and had one of my favorite sleeps I've ever had in 33 years.
They make it super simple. All you gotta do, go online. You go to helix.com. You fill out the sleep survey. You tell them how you sleep. Like, you know, are you a back sleeper? Are you a side sleeper? How tall are you? How much do you weigh? So
You can put how your wife sleeps in there too. Like you can do it for both of you, and then it will actually figure out the mattress for you and your wife at the same time. So when you order a mattress, your wife doesn't yell at you.
You get the right
She doesn't
mattress
tell
for
you
her.
you're an idiot because you ordered too soft of a mattress.
Or too hard.
Which one time happened to me. So I don't know.
No one even thinks that didn't happen, actually. Sleep is one of the most underrated things, I think,
You
in a
spend
person's life.
200 years of your life sleeping.
That's not the correct statistic.
Asterisk.
But I mean, if you just want to try something, they have a 100-night sleep trial, 10-year warranty on their stuff.
Everyone in our household loves our Helix mattress. If you're looking for a new bed, head on over to helixsleep.com/bourbonjunkies to claim 20% off your Helix mattress plus 2 free pillows. Enjoy a little shot of Knox enjoying the bed by himself.
Thank you to Helix for working with the channel.
For
Why
real.
don't you just like upgrade your sleep? Give them a check out.
Seriously. We have multiple Helix mattresses in my house. I love them. For real.
He actually
Not
does.
joking. Swear to God.
Back to the video.
Swear to God. I don't regret having it now. I regret buying this
You're
as
in
the first one. It's
production?
110 proof.
Yeah.
We're just getting into whiskey. We're used to Gentleman Jack.
You need an Old Forester rye.
100%. You need like a sweeter. This is barely legal, but it's hotter. It's just more rye-esque. This is definitely still a rye. And that's why. It's still, if this is great whiskey, it really is. And it's like $60. Now at the time, 60 was a big bottle for us.
It was.
And at the time, 110 proof's a lot for
Mine
us.
was only 30.
Yeah.
Still disappointed about
So that was the reasoning.
Next.
Now I'm gonna drink Octomore while you explain your next one.
My next one was actually also very, very early into our YouTube career, or whatever you want to say. When we first started shooting whiskey, we bought good old Larceny.
Normal Larceny.
And everyone, like the rage back in the day was everyone talked about Weller 107 and was weeded whiskey. And then
Pappy's weeded.
Yeah, and we're always like, oh, we need weeded whiskey. And everyone was like, Larceny, that's what you need because that's like a nice, cheap, easy to drink wheat whiskey.
Yep.
And then I had it, I'm like, yeah, I don't know if I like wheat whiskey. And I think for the longest time, I did not like weeded whiskey because I thought of this.
So I'll just pull mine that goes along with
Figured
yours.
you could pull that one,
Mine was Burnheim wheat whiskey. Now, just to clarify really quickly, because I know what Sean means.
This bottle is probably
This bottle's 6 years old. And that's
5 years old?
This is minimum 5 years old. And it's literally that full. We drank it one time ever. Just to clarify, this is wheat whiskey and this is weeded bourbon.
Yes.
Just, I know what you mean.
Semantics.
But this ruined what you just said. This ruined entire classification for me because when I thought wheat whiskey from Woodford dropped a wheat whiskey, I'm like, wheat whiskey's not good. Because
there are so many places
normal
that do
Burnheim,
great whiskey.
This is not good. It wasn't. You know what?
Like dry
should
fly, Old
Give them
Ale.
a chance.
How does she taste though, Daniel?
Oh, it's just strong in the wrong way. It's just like, dude, it's not great.
Get that. That'll ruin some bottles for you though. When you think of wheat whiskey and you think of that, the same thing I think weeded bourbon, and when our first introduction was this, and it just wasn't my favorite, it kind of ruins things for you.
When you're getting into whiskey, the thing that we don't talk about is you have one of something instead of like, I've had 10.
Yeah.
Your first one is a humongous
First impressions mean a lot.
You're gonna base everything in that whole category off your first
Why don't
thing.
you go 3? Because I'm very intrigued. On the next
One of
3,
my favorite bottles of whiskey. And the reason that I'm so regretful and sad is they discontinued this. Literally 6 months after we started buying them and fell in love with them, they switched the label to a really beautiful, cool teal label and a great square bottle. It's awful.
So this was MGP, basically.
Yeah, this is MGP.
Bottle that was one of our first introductions, I think, really into MGP.
These were $20 for a little bit.
And it was fantastic.
These were This is literally the greatest $20 bottle of whiskey of all time. The good ones are.
Yeah.
Like Hirsch Small Batch Reserve Selected Straight Bourbon Whiskey. It was 92 proof, so at the time, perfect.
Yeah, what we needed.
So good.
Also, so coming from that, one of my favorites personally was Woodford Reserve.
Yeah.
They had this nice little thing called the Masters Collection. And I thought we were getting something really, really cool at the time.
Yeah, the Genie bottles.
With the old chocolate malted rye.
That's really gross whiskey.
That still has the price tag of $129.99. And it is that full with many people sampling this bottle. That's where
most of it went.
Yeah, it was like we've had it once and we were like, I can't drink that.
Yeah.
It wasn't my jam. And we spent $130 on something that I thought I was gonna love. It's a limited from a distillery that I thought I trusted. And what I got was robbed.
That is one of the most heinous.
So I would say if you're getting into bourbon or you're getting into whiskey, chasing limiteds is not always the thing because a lot of times you'll get burnt. I can't even count on one hand how many times that we've gone after different limiteds and they're just subpar for the price.
True. Yeah.
And this is really exemplifies that for us.
That's true.
This is one of our first burns, real big burns that we got, and we're just like, all right, cool, man. And
yeah.
There's
for a while, that was one of the more expensive ones.
Yeah.
Outside of Angels and Mizunara.
If that had whiskey left in it, I would have put it on this list. Yeah, I got this, dog. Don't worry.
We're just gonna group these.
You don't need buzzword whiskey. I bought you this one at Opperman's.
Oh, you bought that one. Okay,
Yep.
Nick gave us that one.
We now buy these.
Francie gave us that one.
Just for gags at some point in time because it's they take whatever is super trending in whiskey and then do base laden in that. Don't chase buzzwords is where we're at on this entire thing.
One of my favorite stories ever is Sean was at a Binny's and we had normal Basil Hayden's, and Basil Hayden 10-year had come out, and we hadn't seen one. It wasn't up here. Sean was at a Binny somewhere. I was like, dude, I found one. I think it was in a glass case, if I recall correctly.
$60 too.
Sean spent $60 on it and brought it back up here. We drank it. We didn't like it. And then we found out right after that the normal one was 9 years old and not age stated.
Yep.
And that 10-year was just 1 year older.
Just straight cash grab.
It's my favorite story.
This goes on the same thing as like what the Woodford was, is like a limited or, buzzword whiskey isn't always what it's meant to be. Like, some people are just for the cash on it. And this line shows that.
One of the line is this one of the most beautiful packages in the entire whiskey industry is that. This is also probably 3 years old at this point. I ordered this online and I was so excited to get it because I think this was the second release. The first release had sold out. I hadn't had it and I was like, I have to have a bottle that looks like that.
Very pretty.
I
don't know why you did that.
Paid on the internet for it.
$120.
And it smells like diarrhea. And dude, that's a with all due respect thing. This is, in my opinion, one of the lack of transparency things. This is also one of the first expensive bottles of whiskey that I bought without knowing anything about the brand at all. And it is just unfortunate.
Really young, really expensive, dude. Great packaging though.
Small lot, single batch. It does say aged in white oak barrels. I've never seen this before and I apparently never read this.
Tell me it's in like days.
Aged in white oak barrels for under 4 years. Hey man, I didn't know you could just say less than.
We can do under 100 years.
What the fuck? But this...
Don't chase buzzwords.
$150, and I swear to God, we should just shoot it with a...
I mean, it's literally just called toast.
Yeah, buddy.
It's not even toasted.
My favorite part about the toast one was it was just brown rice, and that'll piss you off.
Toast.
Because it doesn't even taste like whiskey. All right, last but not least, you do yours first.
Okay, so this is one...
very fair.
I mean, okay, so this one was gimmicky. This is Oak and Eden. So they sell you a bottle with a stave, like a little spiral cut stave in the bottle. Let's B-roll up. So it allows your whiskey to age in the bottle.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh, that's cool, I'll try it.
Forever aging.
Got me once.
Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on me.
$80 or so.
Yeah, these aren't super cheap.
They were not super cheap. I know they've had some very good releases that people talk very highly of.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Whatever we have there is just not one. And it was like, that's not worth $80.
This is one of the normal ones, I think.
Yeah. It was like, that's just not worth $80. They took a young whiskey.
It smells very young, but it smells okay. It's expensive, but...
Oh, that's definitely young. They definitely took a young whiskey and then dropped that in there to try to get some extra aging and sell it at a premium price. Beautiful packaging. Got me.
So come to find
More
out...
of the story is don't fall for packaging.
What people don't know is...
I thought you were going to drop it.
There was some scientific data on the fact that these actually become spent after roughly 6 months.
Yeah, so you don't get extra aging after so long, unless you're pulling it out and putting a new one in.
It actually stops aging after, give or take, roughly. Yeah. It depends on the size and whatever. But if that stays in there for 5 years, you're not like, dude, it's 11 now.
Yeah, that is like a rapid aging. You're throwing a lot at it very, very soon.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work
This
that way.
can be done properly.
Come to find out, you cannot cheat time in a barrel.
But finishing with these types of things we know now.
Yes,
can be done. These types of things, not this exact thing. My last bottle, Elmer T. Mother Effin' Lee.
I need to know why.
One of my favorite bottles of whiskey ever.
Yep.
Love her to death, dude. Someday I'll own every single Elmer that's ever existed. That's a goal of mine. It's a lifetime. That's a bucket list goal.
That ever existed.
Yep. I'm going to have the
one
old
of
Black
every
Label.
Line, you mean?
One of every Elmer that's ever existed.
Thank you.
Black Label, 100, death bottle, birthday bottle. This one, a single barrel that has wax on it.
Sounds expensive.
Yep. Sounds like I can't afford it now. Probably never will be able to, but we'll figure it out. So this bottle was like my first absolute true love in whiskey.
Yeah.
And it was
that was like your real big introduction into whiskey.
It's available every day.
Yeah.
And that's why I regret this.
Shout out to Megabeth.
Because you know what would be awesome? If it still was and it's not. And so now I just have to be sad. Because you know how many bottles of Elmer T. Lee I have that aren't available to drink?
Okay.
Zero.
Hear me out.
So I regret it.
How do you regret?
I regret buying it.
No.
I wish I never had it.
No.
Yep.
Bullshit.
Wish never knew her.
No. Because you look back at those days and you're like, that's what got you to where you are now. In everything.
Haven't seen one in 2 years.
Okay.
Would you rather have loved and to have lost, or then never loved it all?
Loved and lost.
Never loved it all in this one scenario.
Okay. I don't think that's how that saying goes.
No, in this scenario, I'm just saying that's my choice.
Okay, well.
No, this is why. If I would have just got hooked on John J. Bowman single barrel, I could still drink it every day and not give a flying fuck.
This is the worst thing you've ever put on a list.
Nope, this is true.
I'm saying it right now.
I don't think that I don't wish I loved that.
Bullshit.
I wish that I was like, yep, it's out. I don't love Rock Hill. I don't love Blanton's. I don't love Hancock's.
I love Rock Hill.
Not the same way.
Had several bottles of it. And then never once was I like, man, I wish I never loved that bottle.
You didn't come up on Rock Hill. We just both love Rock Hill. This is the thing. You and me have a very healthy love for every other mash bill too.
Fair.
I have an unhealthy love for Elmer. If I walked into a store and I don't have an open Elmer or one in the bunker and it was 120, I'd pay it and I shouldn't. That's why I hate it. This bottle, I've considered buying an Elmer Death bottle way too many times. It doesn't make any sense. It's not that good, right? So I have to hate it because I shouldn't like it as much as I like it. It doesn't make any sense.
It's supposed to be bottles you regret buying.
I regret loving this. And I love it because I bought it when it was available literally everywhere.
We're the Bourbon Junkies.
Love you guys.
Like, comment, subscribe. I call BS on this list because of that bottle.
No.